Deep in the untouched wilderness of Africa, under a brooding sky thick with gathering storm clouds, two colossal forces stood poised on the edge of battle. One was a towering silverback gorilla, the undisputed protector of his forest realm, wise beyond his years, every muscle taut with quiet strength, his eyes scanning the shadows as if he could hear the whispers of the trees themselves. The other was a massive black rhino, a mountain of power and armor, his every step shaking the earth beneath him, a living embodiment of raw, unstoppable force. Neither came for food, nor to claim territory, nor simply to survive another day. No, their fight was sparked by something far more profound, something deeply personal. She was the reason, the heart that fueled this clash. This is the untold story of that fierce encounter, a moment etched forever in the memory of the wild. Koba was no ordinary gorilla. He was the silverback, the leader of his troop, respected and feared by all who knew him. His broad chest and powerful arms told stories of battles fought and won, but it was his calm, steady gaze that showed a deeper strength, one born of wisdom and responsibility. For years he ruled the forest with a quiet confidence, knowing every tree, every path, every sound in his territory. Then came Nia, a small, frightened female gorilla, lost and alone in a world that could be unforgiving. She was a stranger to this dense jungle, vulnerable and helpless. But something about her stirred something inside Koba. Where others might have turned away, he took her in, shielding her from danger with the fierceness of a father and the tenderness of a brother. Nearby, roaming the edges of this territory, was Raji, the black rhino, a solitary creature, rugged and territorial. His thick skin bore scars from battles past, and his sharp horn was a warning to anyone who dared cross his path. Raji was used to walking alone, commanding respect by sheer presence. But even he could not ignore the changes in the forest, the intrusion of another life, one that would soon challenge the balance he fought so hard to maintain. Each of these lives, separate but connected by fate, would soon be drawn into a conflict none could have predicted. It wasn't just about survival. It was about protecting what mattered most. And for Koba, that meant protecting Nia, no matter the cost. From the moment Nia arrived, Koba's world shifted. She was more than just a member of the troop. She became his reason to be fierce, to protect, and to fight. Day by day, Koba taught her the ways of the forest, how to find the sweetest fruit, where the safest streams ran, and how to listen to the subtle sounds that warned of danger nearby. Nia learned quickly, but more than that, she found comfort in Koba's presence. When the wind whispered through the leaves or a shadow passed too close, she would look to him for reassurance. And he was always there, towering, strong, unyielding. Their bond was more than instinct. It was a deep, unspoken promise, a connection forged not by blood, but by heart. In the wild, survival was often a lonely struggle, but for Koba and Nia, they had found something rare: trust. Every chest beat, every protective stance from Koba was a message clear to anyone watching. Nia was under his watchful eye. She was not alone, and anyone who threatened her would have to face him first. This bond was the spark that would soon ignite a fierce and unforgettable conflict, one that would shake the very foundations of the jungle itself. One day, the quiet balance of the forest was disrupted. Raji, the black rhino, wandered deeper into Koba's territory than ever before. It wasn't a deliberate invasion. It was curiosity mixed with instinct. The forest had changed, and food was becoming scarce in his usual range. Raji's heavy footsteps echoed through the underbrush, breaking the usual rhythm of the jungle. His powerful frame moved with purpose, but there was an edge of caution. He knew he was entering a land ruled by another. The rhino's sharp eyes caught signs of life everywhere: broken branches, fresh footprints, and the unmistakable scent of the gorilla troop. For Koba, this was a clear signal. The presence of the rhino wasn't just a threat to his territory, it was a threat to Nia. He could sense the tension rising, the silent challenge that came with another giant stepping onto his land. Neither wanted a fight. But in the wild, respect is earned through strength. Boundaries are drawn not with words, but with actions. As the two titans moved closer to one another, the jungle held its breath, knowing that the fragile peace was about to shatter. And at the center of it all was Nia, unaware that her very presence had set the stage for a confrontation neither beast could avoid. The air grew thick with tension as Koba and Raji came face to face near the watering hole, a rare and precious source of life in the jungle. The silverback's chest heaved with deep breaths, muscles coiled like a spring, every movement calculated yet fierce. His eyes locked onto the rhino, who stood firm, nostrils flaring, ready to defend his claim. Nia stood just behind Koba, small and vulnerable, her wide eyes reflecting both fear and trust. She was the reason Koba was willing to risk everything. He moved subtly to shield her from the looming danger, his protective instinct stronger than ever. Neither animal made the first move. It was a silent standoff, two titans weighing each other's strength, each unwilling to back down. The jungle was eerily quiet, as if the trees themselves were holding their breath. Suddenly, a low growl broke the silence from Koba, a warning that this was no ordinary encounter. Raji responded with a fierce snort, pawing the ground with his massive foot. The energy between them shifted. This was not just a fight for space, but a battle born from something deeper. Koba took a step forward, keeping Nia safely behind him, his gaze never leaving the rhino. The challenge had been made, and the jungle knew. What came next would change everything. The moment exploded into chaos. Koba surged forward with a primal roar, his powerful arms swinging through the air as he launched himself at Raji. The rhino charged back, his massive horn aimed with deadly precision. The ground trembled beneath their battle, muscle crashing against muscle, strength meeting unrelenting force. Koba's agility was his greatest weapon. He dodged the rhino's brutal horn, leaping to the side and delivering powerful blows with his fists. Each strike echoed through the forest like thunder. But Raji's armor-like skin absorbed much of the impact, and with every charge he pushed forward, relentless and unforgiving. The fight was raw and brutal, a desperate dance of survival and protection. Koba's eyes burned with fierce determination. Every move was fueled by his need to defend Nia, to keep her safe no matter the cost. Raji, on the other hand, fought with a rage born from years of solitude and territorial instinct, unwilling to yield his ground. Blow after blow they battled, neither willing to surrender. Dust and debris filled the air as trees shook and branches snapped. The jungle, once alive with peaceful sounds, was silenced by the intensity of their war. Neither was just fighting for dominance. They were fighting for something far more personal, something that words could never express. And as the sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the battlefield, the struggle reached a fierce crescendo, one that would decide their fates forever. As the dust settled, a heavy silence fell over the jungle. Both warriors bore the scars of their brutal encounter. Koba's breathing was ragged, his powerful frame trembling from exhaustion and pain. Yet, even wounded, his eyes remained fierce, locked onto the space where Raji had last stood. The rhino lay motionless, the fierce battle having taken its toll. His massive body was still, the weight of defeat heavy in the air. It was a quiet end to a violent clash, but neither side truly won that day. Koba, despite his injuries, moved carefully toward Nia, who had watched the battle from a safe distance. He crouched beside her, wrapping a protective arm around the young gorilla, as if silently promising she would never face danger alone again. The forest seemed to breathe a collective sigh, nature's way of mourning the violence, yet honoring the fierce loyalty that had sparked it. The fight was over, but the bond between Koba and Nia had only grown stronger. This moment marked the end of a brutal chapter, but also the beginning of a new legacy. a testament to the lengths one would go to protect those they love, no matter the odds. Days passed and the forest slowly returned to its peaceful rhythm. Nia, once timid and unsure, now moved through the trees with growing confidence, her playful spirit shining brighter with each passing moment. Koba watched over her like a shadow, always near, always vigilant. Though his body still bore the marks of battle, his heart was steady. He had fought not just for territory or pride, but for the future of someone he loved deeply. Their bond had become a legend whispered among the trees, a story of strength, sacrifice, and unwavering loyalty. It was a reminder that even in the wild, where survival often seems cold and harsh, love could inspire the fiercest courage. Some say animals act on instinct alone, but those who have witnessed moments like this know there is something more, something that connects them beyond survival, beyond instinct. Koba's silhouette against the sunset was a symbol of that truth, a guardian, a fighter, and above all, a protector. And as the jungle embraced its quiet once more, one thing was certain. The wild would never forget the day a gorilla fought a rhino to the death. For her,